Are you ready for a new adventure? Time to travel back in time, let's go! Are you ready for a new adventure? Let's learn about the past with Anna and Leo.
Hi friends! Welcome to Unlock This, a podcast from Honest History, where we join our friends Anna, Leo, and Percy on adventures through time and uncover some really cool stories along the way. My name is William. I'm 6 years old, and I love learning about history, especially new stories that I don't hear about in school. I can't wait for today's story, and I think you're gonna love it too. So let's dive in.
Sorry for running a bit late today, Anna.
That's okay. But Leo, you seem different.
That's because I can breathe through my nose again. My allergies are all gone. It's amazing.
I didn't know you had allergies.
Yep, and for the longest time, I couldn't figure out what was causing them. Turns out, I was just allergic to my neighbor's cat.
So you solved the mystery of what was making you sick. And that actually reminds me of a story. But I should warn you, it's a strange one.
Oh, I love strange stories. Let's hear it.
Have you ever heard of a dancing plague?
No, a dancing plague? I'm thinking it involves dancing, which sounds like fun, but the plague part has me thinking it wasn't fun at all.
You've got that right. This plague was more dangerous than you'd expect. In 1518, hundreds of people started dancing, and then they couldn't stop. They danced for weeks.
Weeks? Why?
That's the thing. No one really knew what caused it.
A mysterious dancing plague. Anna, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
That we should travel back to 1518?
Exactly.
Percy, we've got a great idea for our next adventure. Is there anything in the vault about the dancing plague of 1518?
It looks like Percy thought of something.
I think he's pointing to that painting on the shelf.
It's pretty high up. Do you see a ladder we can use?
Here's one. And look, it slides. I'll just slide it to that next painting.
Be careful, Anna. That painting looks heavy.
It's okay, I've got it. There. Now we just need to find something to put it on.
There's a table over here. Set it down on that.
Now let's see what this painting is. Don't worry, Percy. We'll be careful. Percy said this painting is very old.
It looks like it's a picture of a man. He's got an interesting hat, and he's holding a small notebook.
There's also some words painted on the bottom. Do you see that, Leo?
Yes, it says, Famoso Doctor. That kind of sounds like famous doctor.
So maybe this man was a doctor? But there's another word, too.
It says Paracelsus. I wonder what that means.
That sounds familiar.
Get ready, Anna. Here we go!
We're here!
So this is 1518?
It looks like it to me. 1518 was just after the Middle Ages and the beginning of a period called the Renaissance.
Do you know where we are? What town is this?
If Percy has taken us to the right place, we should be in a city called Strasbourg. It's near the border of France and Germany. In 1518, it was a part of the Holy Roman Empire.
Anna, I'm looking around and all these people, they don't look very happy or healthy.
Times were tough in 1518. There had been several bad harvests, which meant that there wasn't much grain and food became very expensive. Grain was a big part of people's diet. They used it to make things like bread.
Oh, so people were having a hard time paying for food.
And the year before, in 1517, there was a harsh winter. Many people were already weak from hunger and didn't survive those cold months. And then they were hit with the smallpox. This disease spread through the city and killed many people. And then
Oh no, what else?
the bubonic plague arrived.
The bubonic plague?
You might know it as the Black Death. In 1346, the Black Death spread across medieval Europe and killed millions of people.
So the disease came back in 1517? No wonder everyone in the city looks unhappy. It's been a very difficult few years.
I know it sounds terrifying, but I do see a crowd of people over there. Should we go see what's going on?
I think they're watching something on the street. There, I see someone. Oh, they're dancing.
And look, there's more dancers over there.
The dancers look exhausted. Hannah, look at their shoes. They're torn to shreds. Their poor feet. They've been dancing for hours.
There's only one explanation for this. Leo, this must be the dancing plague.
But why are they dancing? And why can't they stop?
One summer's day, a woman by the name of Frau Trophia stepped out of her house and began jumping from one foot to the other. There was no music playing when she began this strange dance. She danced all day, and her husband asked her to stop, but it became clear that she simply could not. After many, many hours, Frau Trophia collapsed from exhaustion and began to sleep. When she awoke, just a few hours later, she got back on her feet and began to dance all over again.
Whoa, how long did this go on for?
Days. By the third day, a crowd of people had gathered around Frau Trophia, watching her strange dance. By now, her feet were sore and bleeding from all of the jumping. The city authorities started to get concerned. They didn't know why she was acting this way. A few days later, they put her on a wagon and took her to a shrine high up in the mountains. They hoped this would finally stop her dance. And it seemed to work. Frau Trophia stopped, but this wasn't the end of the dancing.
What happened next?
Over the next few days, more people took to the streets and began dancing, just like Frau Trophia. As each day passed, more and more people seemed to catch this strange dancing plague. At one point, there were hundreds of citizens leaping and jumping in the air, and it seemed like none of them could stop.
Did anyone try to figure out why it was happening? Didn't they have doctors that they could ask for help?
The city of Strasbourg had a council of men who helped run the city. This council decided to ask one of the leading physicians what was causing this dancing plague. The physician said that the dancing was caused by overheated blood.
So they thought people's blood was too hot? And that's why they were all dancing?
Yes. You see, in the 1500s, physicians thought very differently from the doctors today. In the past, people thought that the human body was made up of 4 different humors, or fluids. These humors were blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. They believed that the 4 humors were responsible for people's health and even their personality. And they thought that if one of these humors was out of balance, people would get sick.
So the physicians thought people were dancing because their blood was out of balance?
Exactly. And the council wanted to figure out a way to fix this. Some physicians said that the dancers needed to get rid of the bad blood and bring it back in balance. Have you ever heard of leeches?
Yes! Aren't those worms that suck your blood? I saw one once in the river when I was camping with my family. They're pretty cool, but also pretty gross.
In the past, doctors used leeches for a treatment called bloodletting. They would place leeches on people who were sick, and the leeches would suck their blood. At the time, doctors believed that that healed people.
Really? Did it work?
Well, they thought so. But today, we know that there isn't really evidence to prove that bloodletting heals people.
But in the 1500s, They thought it would balance out people's blood. So did the doctors put leeches on the dancers? Because they thought it would make them stop dancing?
That was their first idea. But then they remembered hearing about another dancing plague from years ago. And then they remembered how they treated it back then. Do you know what the doctors decided to do?
What?
They said there was only one way to end this plague, and that was more dancing. They were going to let these people dance all day and night until it was over.
Hi friends, are you enjoying today's episode? I'd like to take a quick break from the story to tell you about another great place to learn about the past. Honest History creates magazines and books for kids that are filled with fun stories and activities that bring history to life. From pirates to spies to great inventions and so much more, you'll learn about interesting people, places, and events from around the world that made history. Created for kids ages 6 through 12, you can sign up and receive new adventures delivered straight to your doorstep every quarter. Just visit honesthistory.co. That's honesthistory.co to sign up today. Oh, and here's a special offer for our podcast listeners. Use code UNLOCKTHIS for 10% off. Again, that special code is UNLOCKTHIS. Okay, let's get back to the story.
Leo, do you hear that? It sounds like music.
Whoa, over there! It looks like some kind of stage. There's dancers on it and musicians.
Yes, the council set that up to encourage people to dance. All of the halls and public spaces were cleared out to let people dance. They were even allowed to dance in the market square where traders would usually sell their goods. Then the council hired musicians to play the music in these places. All across the city, you could hear the sound of pipes, drums, and tambourines. But it didn't go exactly as they planned. The dancing was contagious. As more people saw the dancers, they began to join in. Soon there were 400 people in the streets dancing. And what's worse, people began to die.
Oh dear. It's very warm today. People were probably getting too hot dancing for hours in this heat. That is very dangerous. Which reminds me, I brought some water bottles. It's important to stay hydrated. Here, Anna, there's one for you.
Thanks, Leo.
Anna? Do you see what Percy is doing?
Oh no. He's dancing. He caught the plague. How do we make him stop?
I'll throw some water on him.
That helped a bit, but it looks like he's still dancing. We need to snap him out of it. What do we do?
I don't know. How do you normally get Percy's attention? We need to distract him from the dancing.
Well, I usually give him a snack, but I don't have anything. Do you?
I don't see anything. Oh, wait. I think there's a small bit of molasses in this pocket. It must have gotten there after our last adventure.
That might work.
Here, Percy, how about a snack?
He stopped. That snack snapped him out of the dance. I never thought I'd be thankful to see molasses again.
Boy, that dancing really is contagious. It's almost like he got stuck in a trance watching the other dancers on stage. Wait, something's happening over there. Look, they're pulling dancers off the stage. And it looks like they're starting to take the stage apart.
Yes, the council realized that the dancing and music was only making things worse. They're clearing the stage and telling the musicians to go home. Music and dancing won't be allowed in Strasbourg until the plague is over.
So now what? How are they going to help these people?
Well, the council still had no idea what was causing this strange dancing disease or how to cure it. That's when they came up with another explanation. The dancing plague must be a curse.
A curse?
Like I said, they didn't understand the human body as well as we do today, so they couldn't figure out a medical reason for the dancing. People began to think that the dancers were cursed. They began putting the dancers in wagons and carried them to a shrine up in the mountains, just like they had with Frau Trophea. And many of these people eventually stopped dancing. By early September, most of the dancers were back to normal.
So were they cursed? There must be another reason, right?
That's what historians are trying to figure out today. But it's a hard mystery to solve because many of the sources about the event were written years after the plague. There was one physician, I think his name was Paracelsus. He was the only person to write about Frau Trophea. He named her as the first person to start dancing.
Paracelsus. Was he a doctor?
Yes. Wait! The painting! I knew the name Paracelsus sounded familiar.
The painting in the vault must be a picture about the famous Dr. Paracelsus, the man who wrote about Frau Trophea.
That's it, Leo!
Whoa, it looks like we're back in the vault.
And here's the painting of Paracelsus.
Since he was a famous doctor, did Paracelsus know what made these people dance?
Well, he had his own ideas, but they turned out to be wrong. The true cause of the dancing plague is still a bit of a mystery. For a while, historians thought it was caused by a fungus that grew on a grain. People had eaten the toxic grain, and it had made them dance and jump. But some historians think that the dancing plague happened because people were very unhappy and stressed after many difficult years. They had suffered through bad harvests, and they didn't have much food. The citizens of Strasbourg were hungry, and many were ill. And this stress may have made them act strangely.
And then some people saw the dancers and began dancing too, just like Percy, remember? He started dancing, and we had to snap him out of it. It was kind of scary.
Percy says he didn't catch the dancing plague. He was just hungry.
Well, whatever it was, I'm just happy I had something in my backpack. I'll remember to pack snacks from now on. You never know what kind of trouble you'll meet on one of our adventures.
And if a snack will save the day, I think that's a great idea, Leo.
Welcome back. That sure was a great adventure. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna tell all my friends about this amazing story. That's all for now. But if you want to learn more, be sure to check out my favorite magazine for kids, Honest History. There's a ton of stuff to learn in each issue, and I love the fun activities and questions. Bye! This episode was narrated by Nikki and JoAnn Schinderle and written by Heidi Coburn. The production was read by Robot Pirate Media. To learn more about Honest History, visit us at honesthistory.co and follow for updates on social media.